In the blistering heat of an Afghan summer, a lone woman in dusty fatigues walked out of the wire at Camp Bastion with nothing but a rucksack and a stare that could freeze blood, and every Marine on gate duty swore the devil himself stepped aside when she passed. If you love your mom and dad, hit that subscribe button right now and show some love to the woman who carried their flag through hell. Her name was Chief Petty Officer Elena Zero Valdez, and the Taliban had already put a $5 million bounty on her head for the sin of being better at their own game than they were. The brass called her a force multiplier. The grunts called her the ghost. The enemy called her Shaitan al-Amriki, the American devil. But back in Coronado, where the SEAL teams are forged in salt and pain, the instructors who tried to wash her out on day one still whispered her original nickname with something close to fear, worth nothing. That was the day she arrived at BUD/S with a chipped front tooth, a duffel bag older than she was, and a letter from her father that read, in shaky handwriting, Mija, if they break you, come home. We'll still love you. She'd burned the letter in the grinder's surf and never looked back. Elena grew up in the forgotten corner of El Paso where the Rio Grande smells like rust and broken promises. Her mother cleaned motel rooms for cash and her father drove a produce truck until the diabetes took his legs. The kids at school called her border rat. The gangs called her easy prey. The recruiter who spotted her running a sub-5-minute mile in borrowed sneakers called her exactly what we need. She enlisted at 17 with parental consent and a forged dream of becoming a hospital corpsman. The Navy had other plans. They saw the way she could strip an M4 blindfolded, the way she could read a room like a topo map, the way pain just bounced off her like rain on desert stone. By 22 she was the only woman to ring the bell at BUD/S and keep ringing it until the instructors begged her to stop. They pinned a trident on her chest and warned her the real hell started now. Her first deployment was supposed to be a milk run, 6 months in the Persian Gulf playing medic on a carrier. Instead, a pirate skiff full of Somali teenagers with RPGs turned it into a floating morgue. Elena dragged 3 wounded sailors through knee-deep diesel fire while returning fire with a borrowed Beretta. The captain put her in for a Silver Star. The admiral buried the paperwork because, optics. She learned the first rule of being a female operator: your victories belong to the team, your failures belong to your gender. That's when the nickname stuck. Worth nothing. A chief who outranked her by 15 years said it to her face in the ready room, you're worth nothing to this platoon until you prove you're not a liability. She smiled, all teeth and no warmth, and the next day led a squad through a hail of tracer fire to pull a pinned-down Ranger element out of a poppy field. She came back with 2 bullets in her plate, 1 Ranger on her shoulders, and the chief's respect stapled to her chest beside the new Purple Heart. The nickname didn't go away. It just changed meaning. Fast forward 8 years. Elena is 30, callsign 0 because she leaves 0 trace and takes 0 prisoners. She's the tip of the spear for Devgru Red Squadron, the unit that doesn't officially exist. Her team's latest target is a high-value individual named Jafar al-Rashid, the money man behind every IED that turns American boys into memories. Intel says he's holed up in a mud-walled compound outside Kandahar, surrounded by 50 fighters and a harem of child brides. The mission is simple: insert at 0200, locate the target, confirm identity, exfil before dawn prayer. The complication is the village itself: 200 civilians, half of them kids, all of them potential human shields. Command wants a surgical strike. Elena wants blood, they drop in by hello. Blacked out, rotors thumping like a war drum. The team is 6 operators, all men, all legends in their own right. There's Master Chief Hicks, the old man with a dad bod and a kill count higher than most countries' GDPs. There's Petty Officer Lopez, the breacher who can turn a locked door into confetti with a wink. There's Ensign Park, the Korean-American sniper who once dropped a target at 2,100 yards with a rifle older than his grandmother. And there's Elena, the quiet one in the back, checking her kit like a pianist tuning before Carnegie Hall. They hit the ground running. Lopez blows the outer wall with a strip charge. Park sets Overwatch on a minaret. Hicks and the others flow through the breach like water. Elena ghosts left, alone, because that's how she hunts. She moves through the alleys in a crouch, NVGs painting the world in ghost green. She counts heartbeats the way other people count steps. 10 meters ahead, a shadow shifts. She raises her suppressed 416 Hong Kong dollars and puts 2 round center mass. The shadow drops without a sound. She keeps moving. Inside the compound, things go sideways fast. The fighters aren't the usual goat herders with AKs. They're trained. Disciplined. Chechen mercenaries, if the accents are any clue. Hicks' voice crackles in her ear. 0, we're pinned in the courtyard. Need you to flank the east wing. She's already moving. She slips through a side door and finds herself in a candlelit room full of women and children. They stare at her like she's death in desert camis. One little girl, maybe 6, clutches a rag doll and whispers in Pashto, "Please don't hurt us." Elena's stomach twists. She raises a finger to her lips. The girl nods, she edges past them, boots silent on the packed dirt. Through the next doorway she sees Jaffer, tall, thin, expensive watch glinting under the robes. He's arguing with a Chechen captain, voice low and urgent. Something about money transferred, a deadline missed, a bigger player pulling strings. Elena raises her rifle. Her finger tightens on the trigger. And then the lights go out. Not metaphorically. The whole compound plunges into darkness. Backup generators should have kicked in. They don't. She hears Hicks again, strained this time. 0, we've got a situation. Park's down. Sniper got him through the scope. Her blood turns to ice. Park was their eyes. Without him they're blind. She flips to thermal and sees heat signatures converging on the courtyard. Too many. Way too many. She makes a call. Hicks, exfil now. I'll get the package. Negative, 0. Abort and rally. See you at the LZ, Master Chief. Don't wait. She clicks off the comms before he can argue. She moves fast. Jaffer is slipping out a back door, 2 bodyguards hustling him toward a waiting SUV. Elena follows, a shadow among shadows. She takes down the first guard with a knife to the kidney. The second turns, brings up an AK. She shoots him in the face. Jaffer spins, eyes wide. For the first time she sees fear in the man who funds nightmares. He raises his hands. I can pay, he says in perfect English. Name your price. Elena zip-ties his wrists. Already did. She drags him into the night. Behind her, the compound erupts in gunfire. Her team is making a fighting retreat. She keys her mic. Lopez, light it up. A second later, the east wing explodes in a fireball that paints the sky orange. Distraction achieved. She hauls Jaffer toward the extraction point, a dry Wadi 2 clicks north. Every step is a negotiation with gravity and adrenaline. Jaffer stumbles. She yanks him upright. Move or I leave you for the dogs. Halfway there, the twist hits like a sledgehammer. A Black Hawk thunders overhead, searchlight sweeping the desert. Not American. Russian markings. The Chechens have air support. The bird banks hard and unleashes a burst from its door gun. Sand erupts around her. She dives, dragging Jaffer into a culvert. The hello circles back. She does the math, no stinger, no cover, 1 mag left. She's about to become a statistic. Then she remembers the sat phone in her vest. She dials a number she swore she'd never use. It rings twice. A woman's voice, sleepy and Texan, this better be life or death, Mija. Mom, I need you to wake up General Hackett. Tell him Zero's cashing in her favor. Coordinates to follow. Her mother doesn't ask questions. She never does. 90 seconds later, an American Reaper drone streaks overhead at 20,000 feet. Hellfire missile. The Russian Hello becomes a fireball raining shrapnel. Elena doesn't wait to watch. She's running again, Jaffer slung over her shoulder like a sack of regret. They reach the wadi. Hicks is there with what's left of the team, Lopez bleeding from the thigh, Ensign Park's body wrapped in a poncho. The exfil bird is late. Enemy technicals are closing in, 0.50 calories chattering. Hicks looks at her like she's insane. You brought the package? Package brought itself. She dumps Jaffer at his feet. We leave in 60 seconds or we don't leave. The bird finally screams in, ramp down, guns blazing. They pile aboard. Lopez slaps a tourniquet on his leg. Hicks stares at Jaffer, then at Elena. You just started a war, Zero. No, she says, wiping blood from her cheek. I just finished one. Back at Bagram, the debrief is a circus. CIA wants Jaffer. DIA wants Jaffer. The State Department wants to pretend none of this happened. Elena wants a shower and a cheeseburger. She gets neither. Instead, she gets a visit from a 3-star general with more fruit salad on his chest than a produce aisle. He closes the door, offers her a cigar. She declines. He gets to the point. Chief Valdez, the man you brought in isn't just a banker. He's the banker. Every terrorist group from Caracas to Jakarta routes money through his network. We flip him, we gut them. But there's a problem. He'll only talk to you. Elena laughs, a sound like breaking glass. He's scared of me. Use it. We are. But he says there's a price. He wants immunity, a new identity, and... The general hesitates. He wants you to escort him to The Hague. Personally. She stares at him. You want me to babysit a terrorist across 3 continents? I want you to make sure he gets there alive. Because if he doesn't, the people who funded him will make sure no American operator ever sleeps again. She should say no. She should cite burnout, PTSD, the fact that she hasn't seen her parents in 3 years. Instead she hears her father's voice from that burned letter, if they break you, come home. She's not broken yet. 48 hours leave, she says. Then I'm wheels up. The leave is a blur. She flies commercial into El Paso under a fake name. Her mother meets her at baggage claim, older now, hair gone silver, but the hug is the same, fierce, smelling of motel soap and tamales. Her father waits in the truck, legs gone below the knees, but his eyes still sharp. They don't ask about the scars. They just feed her pozole and let her sleep in her childhood bedroom with the Justin Bieber poster still on the wall. On the second night, her mother finds her on the back porch staring at the stars. You gonna tell me what's eating you, Mija? Elena exhales. They want me to protect the man who killed my friends. Her mother is quiet for a long time. Then, my daddy used to say the devil don't always wear horns. Sometimes he wears a suit and begs for mercy. You do what you gotta do. But you come home when it's done. The flight to The Hague is a study in tension. Jaffer sits across from her in the cargo hold of a C-17, wrists cuffed to a D-ring, flanked by 2 marshals who look like they'd rather be anywhere else. He's cleaned up, new suit, new haircut, new attitude. He tries charm. You know, Chief, we're not so different. Both soldiers in someone else's war. She doesn't look up from cleaning her sidearm. I don't murder children. Collateral damage, he says with a shrug. You have your rules of engagement. I have mine. Mid-flight, the plane lurches. Turbulence. The pilot says. Then the lights die. Emergency strobes kick in, bathing everything in blood red. One of the marshals goes down, throat opened by a blade that wasn't there 10 seconds ago. The other reaches for his weapon and takes 3 rounds to the chest. Jaffer is free, smiling like a cat with cream. Did you really think they'd let me testify? Elena dives for cover as the cargo hold becomes a kill zone. Masked figures in black drop from the ceiling, Spetsnaz, if the accents are any clue. Someone sold them out. She returns fire, drops 2, but there are more. Jaffer is already at the emergency hatch, punching in a code. The door blows open, sucking crates and bodies into the night. He turns to her, almost apologetic. Nothing personal. She lunges, grabs his ankle. They tumble out together into freezing darkness at 30,000 feet. No chutes. No plan. Just her, him, and the long fall to whatever comes next. She wakes up in a fishing trawler off the coast of Senegal, ribs cracked, lungs full of salt water. A Senegalese captain with kind eyes tells her she washed up with a dead man tangled in her arms. Jaffer's neck is broken. His watch is still ticking. She stares at the body and feels, nothing. Worth nothing, the old voice whispers. She silences it with a thought, worth everything to the kids who won't grow up under his bombs. The extraction is messy. Langley disavows her. The Navy lists her as Kia. Her parents get a folded flag and a lie. She goes dark, a ghost without a country. For 6 months she drifts, Morocco, Malta, a container ship to Norfolk. She's done with uniforms, done with chains of command. But the war isn't done with her. The final twist comes in a dive bar in Virginia Beach, the kind of place where SEALs go to forget and remember at the same time. She's nursing a Coke, watching the door, when Hicks walks in. Older, limping, civilian clothes that don't fit right. He slides into the booth without asking. You're supposed to be dead. So are you, Master. Chief. They share a look that says everything the years stole. He slides a flash drive across the table. Jaffer's dead, but his network isn't. Someone's picking up where he left off. Bigger fish. Stateside. She raises an eyebrow. And you're telling me because? Because the teams can't touch it. Too political. But you? He smiles for the first time in years. You're a ghost. She plugs the drive into a burner laptop. Bank records. Shell companies. A name at the top, Senator Harlan Whitlock, hawkish chairman of the Armed Services Committee, the man who buried her Silver Star. The same man who just announced a run for president on a platform of finishing the job in the Middle East. Elena closes the laptop. You in? Hicks stands. Try and stop me. The last act is personal. They track Whitlock to a fundraiser at a McMansion in Potomac. Black tie, champagne, lobbyists with smiles like switchblades. Elena crashes the party in a caterer's uniform, hair dyed blonde, accent Midwest neutral. Hicks is outside in a van with Lopez, who's walking again thanks to a prosthetic and sheer spite. They've got drones, jammers, and a plan that would make Sun Tzu blush. She finds Whitlock in his study, pouring scotch older than she is. He doesn't recognize her until she drops the accent. Evening, Senator. Remember me? I'm the liability you buried. His hand twitches toward a panic button. She's faster, presses a suppressed Glock to his temple. Easy. We're just going to have a chat. She makes him open the safe. Inside, ledgers, hard drives, a ledger with her name on it, payment for services rendered, dated the week her team got ambushed in Kandahar. The senator sold them out for campaign donations and a pipeline deal. She records everything on a body cam. Then she does something the old Elena wouldn't have, she lets him live. She zip ties him to his desk, leaves the evidence for the FBI anonymous tip line, and walks out before the first news chopper arrives. Dawn finds her on the beach at Dam Neck, watching the sun paint the Atlantic gold. Hicks limps up beside her. What now, Zero? She thinks of her parents' kitchen, the smell of pozole, the way her mother's hands shook when she hugged her goodbye. She thinks of the little girl in Kandahar clutching a rag doll. She thinks of the nickname that followed her like a curse and became a crown. Now, she says, I go home. The credits roll over footage shot years later, Elena in civilian clothes, teaching self-defense at a community center in El Paso. Her students are girls from the border, kids with fire in their eyes and futures they refuse to let anyone steal. Her parents sit in the bleachers, proud and whole. In the corner, a shadow watches, Hicks, older now, smiling like a man who kept a promise. The screen fades to black with white text, for every girl told she's worth nothing. Ring the bell and keep going. Tell me in the comments, from what part of this great country are you watching? Drop your city, your state, your story. Because every warrior started somewhere, and every somewhere matters.